1975 was a long time ago. Cars been around like I have. They've seen it all, and they've seen a lot, I can tell you right now. And, well, drivers should learn how to drive us. I mean, that was all the way back, way back in 1975 when it all happened. It all started for me. That was the year. America was in a downhill time. Gerald Ford was in office, and we were celebrating the bicentennial. If we didn't have an energy crisis, we were just over one. Well, folks, that was the year that one other thing happened. The year that I first rolled off the GM assembly line. They call me Whitecap because of my white roof. And man, am I a car. Car ain't happy unless it's on the road. I'm just glad not to be in a museum somewhere. My original owner was a truck driver. But now, I got this new guy who tries his best and does everything. So you're a hip and groovy teenager of the 1970s who wants to choose a car. Here we will help you. First, you must pick from the many groovy styles there are to choose from, like the hatchback or the sedan. Don't worry about those gas prices of the recent past, for today's cars can get plenty of gas mileage, especially in the smaller ones. Smaller cars like this Chevy Vega usually save you on gas. However, one must avoid big gas guzzlers like this 1975 Chevy-Caprice-Classic. During the 1970s, the speed limit on interstate parkways throughout the U.S. was lowered from 65 to 55. The Long Island Expressway didn't have an HOV lane either. Don't talk to me about your hurricane in New Orleans. You think you know trouble? That was no trouble at all, just going around a gas station for a couple of minutes. Hell, to me, that was a ride in the park. Let me tell you a little bit something. Imagine what it's like for a car to be waiting around the block to get to the gas pump. Add to that a sign marked "Last Car" hung on your rear bumper by some service station attendant, and you get the picture. It could be pretty embarrassing. I recall that in the early 80s you had rationing based on your license plate number, odd and even days. Times were trying for men and machines like me. OPEC was giving us a lot of trouble. You had the Russians in Afghanistan. And it was hard for both men and machines. There have been many changes in cars over my time. In many ways I am behind the times, and in others they still have to catch up with me. One example is this Hyundai Sonata. Let me explain. I hope you can take the noise, folks. He has fuel injection, power steering, and yes, electronic ignition that's on most cars today. As for me, oh, did you note the size and mount of his engine? It's kind of sideways there. As for me, I have a carburetor, electronic ignition, and power steering. Now, you got to consider this. On a car in my time, you had a distributor. You didn't have power or electronic steering, electronic ignition, excuse me. Oh, and somebody better check the radiator fluid. Another thing that has changed on cars is the bumper. Take a look at his. Here's just a big giant piece of plastic. As for me, Lord help it if it hits your chrome. Typical 1970s bumper, folks. This is my 1970s static maker. My owner wants to put in one of those new ones with the satellite radio and all of that. Well, I don't know. I don't think I like the static either, come to think of it. His radio has a CD player. His radio antenna is on the outside. Take a look at that. Not that bad looking, but okay. There you have it, folks. My antenna. Most cars, be they from my time or from any other time, have one that sticks up from your hood or somewhere. Me, I have it right in my windshield. Okay, folks. Inside the Hyundai you have the parking brake, the shift, controls for the heating and that, vents. To your right, that stick only controls the lights. To your left, that stick controls the washers. I don't know how people do that. It also controls the directionals. As you can see, cruise control and even the power door locks and the power everything. Oh boy, this car can be confusing at times. My 2-speed control for the washers and wipers. This is the control for my interior lights and low beams. You pull it out, you twist it, whatever. If you twist it to your left, the dashboard lights go higher. To the right, they go lower. Pull it all the way out so you got the low beams on. Push it in, everything goes off. Control for the high beams. Emergency brake pedal, hood release, brake release. And, of course, the climate control, which is to the left of the steering column. To your left is the control stick for the directionals, with a little thing for the cruise control at the end. To your right is the control for the transmission. And over here, that is the switch for the rear defogger, which is a fan in my back, right by the window. Now, folks, I can tell you I'm one of the rare cars of the 70s to have a few things here. Okay? There you can see my interior mirror control. And there's something even rarer down here. Take a look at this. Here you have my power door locks and power windows. Back then, they had cranks. Back then, you almost always had to open a window, well, at least at a toll booth, for one simple reason. You had only the way to give the guy the money, or you threw it in a basket, and the coins went down the slot and into the machine. They were called exact change lanes. The typical mirror of the 70s is like my right side view. You had to reach out and kind of twist it with your hand. My owner leaves this askew because it's too much of a bother reaching across the car to do it. Well, this was your standard 1970s spare. Hey, donuts are for coffee, sure as I have T-bird wheel tethers. We are going to have some fun now as my owner and I want to take you on a ride. Come on, let's join us.
B103, the Beatles up next.